Pokemon Go's Go Battle League Season 10 is well underway now, and with the Season 10 update, there have been some winners and losers in regards to the move pool expansions and the move rebalances. So this video here is the Season 10 winners and losers, doing a quick drive-by analysis to let you know what you need to know about the changes with Season 10. Of course, if you do want to cover any of this information in more detail, Tyler from the Game Press crew has an article up on Game Press, the meta implications of the Season 10 update, which will cover all the information in this video with some extra details there, of course. So if you do want more out of this, make sure to check out that article. I know that this video is a little bit late coming from me, but been pretty busy with my work schedule lately, so it's here now. So yeah, starting out, we're going to talk about Noctowl. Noctowl may not be the biggest winner of this update, but it is the most meta winner of this update. Anybody that has experience with playing Noctowl in the Sylph Arena knows that Noctowl is already a very tanky, powerful flying type Pokemon. It's got Sky Attack, it's got Wing Attack. What more can you want? Well, what it's always wanted is a way to actually hit Rock and Steel type Pokemon for good neutral damage. Nightshade does basically no damage, so it's a terrible attack. A Nightshade buff would have been really nice for Noctowl, and what is Shadow Ball but a Nightshade buff? So with Shadow Ball, Noctowl can now manage Rock and Steel type Pokemon a bit better than before, and as a result, Noctowl is now more of a Open Great League meta threat than it has ever been. Overall, I would say Noctowl is still kind of like a B tier Pokemon. You're more often going to want to reach for, your Altaria or your Skarmory for the flying type role, but it does have some unique advantages over Skarmory and Altaria now, which makes it well worth considering for your team as a unique, interesting spice pick, which could help you get ahead. The main cool thing that Noctowl has to its name is that it is able to overcome Azumarill in even shield situations, and it can also overcome Galar Stunfisk when at a shield advantage. It does this through a slight attack weight breakpoint on it, which allows it to do extra damage to these Pokemon. Altaria and Skarmory, they do have potential to overcome Azumarill and Galar Stunfisk, but neither of them really do have the potential that Noctowl does to do that job, and it's all thanks to Shadow Ball. If you are curious about the best PvP IVs for Noctowl and how you can get that breakpoint to help you beat Azumarill and Galar Stunfisk more consistently, link up above and in the description to my Noctowl PvP IV deep dive, which covers all of that information and more on using Noctowl in the Open Great League. At the end of the day, if you're going to bring Noctowl to the Open Great League, do you want to bring the one that can beat Azumarill and Galar Stunfisk, or do you want to use the one that loses to them? That's my question. Next up is Magcargo, and Magcargo is arguably the biggest winner when it comes to this update. Magcargo got two buffs. It got Incinerate, the best fire type fast move in Pokemon Go right now for PvP, and then it also got the recently buffed Rock Tomb, which is kind of interesting. Rock Tomb still has really bad damage, but now it has a 100% chance to lower your opponent's attack stat by one stage. So when it comes to the history of Magcargo here, Magcargo has always been kind of like a meme cup Pokemon. It's the fire type that can beat other fire type Pokemon because it has Rock Throw. And that was basically all that Magcargo and Slugma, to a lesser extent, were ever used for when it comes to PvP. Just rock throwing in cups. Well, with Incinerate, Magcargo finally has some more fire-type teeth to its name and can function as a powerful fire-type Pokemon. So when you have a cup like the Great League Remix Cup right now, for instance, where fire-type Pokemon are generally good, having Incinerate is fantastic. And if you check the team rankings on pvpoke.com, you'll see that Magcargo is featured in a lot of the top teams there. Why? Because it's a really powerful fire-type Pokemon, and it also has Overheat too, so it's doing the fire, and even more fire. It ain't the Rock Throw meme anymore, it's actually a good fire-type Pokemon. Now, as far as Magcargo is concerned in the Open Great League, well, fire-type Pokemon aren't that hot when it comes to Open Great League, and Magcargo has to compete with like Talonflame and Alolan Marowak now, so yeah, it's kind of got its issues there. On top of that, Magcargo is a rock-fire Pokemon, so it's doubly weak to ground-type attacks, which isn't great, and doubly weak to water-type attacks, which is not great at all either. So I'd say outside of cup-type formats, Magcargo definitely has its work cut out for it, but with Incinerate, it's a top Pokemon in at least the Remix Cup, so I think that really does speak to its potential in any other cup-type format Magcargo could find itself in PvP. Now, one thing I will warn you about when it comes to Magcargo is that it is quite expensive, and it really does benefit from being tanky, so you may want to hold out on actually building a Magcargo until you actually get a really nice IV spread on it. And I think there is a lot of potential for it to straight incinerate things down with an attack breakpoint. So in the near future, I may be doing a PvP IV deep dive on Magcargo. So if you are interested in that type of information, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. So what about Rock Tomb? Well, Rock Tomb is certainly helpful for Magcargo, but it is kind of a weird move because its stats are just so bad. Magcargo in a lot of situations would probably much rather use Stone Edge, but there is still a lot of merit to the Rock Tomb having the 100% debuff chance. But given that they have such competitive energy with each other, it's not exactly certain if Magcargo wants to be running, Rock Tomb or Stone Edge. To make things even weirder, Magcargo basically always wants to use Overheat, which is a high super damage nuke attack, but it debuffs your own attack stat. So if you could close out a fight with a Stone Edge instead of an Overheat, well, that would save you from getting debuffed. But if you had Rock Tomb instead, well, then you might have to close out that fight using Overheat, which debuffs you, which makes you weaker on the next Pokemon in. So at the moment, I'm going to say it really comes down to a personal preference which move you want to use on your Magcargo. When it comes to the Remix Cup, at least, it does appear that Stone Edge is the favorite attack, but in other types of formats, or if Magcargo is used in a different type of role, well then Rock Tomb could be the move of choice. So right now, the jury's a little bit out. I think it really is going to come down to cup by cup, roll by roll, which move Magcargo is actually going to want to carry. Also, with the Season 10 update, Pokemon Go kind of sprinkled Rock Tomb on a whole bunch of other Pokemon, and when it comes to Pokemon that have recently gotten Rock Tomb and Pokemon that already have Rock Tomb, I feel like Forretress is the only one that really kind of benefits from it. Forretress would love to have a nice move to hit flying type Pokemon with. It has Rock Tomb already, but it doesn't really like using it because it's not really dynamic in its kit, and it having that debuff chance does make it a little bit more dynamic, makes it a little bit more reasonable for Forretress to maybe be carrying. So I think this is a slight win when it comes to Forretress. When it comes to all the other Pokemon that got Rock Tomb, like Aggron, Lairon, Sudowoodo, they got other moves that they'd probably much rather use compared to Rock Tomb. Like, most of them have Rock Slide, I think. Aggron's just bad, and it's got Stone Edge, so maybe Aggron could use it. But I don't really see it being a win in any of their books. It's just kind of weird. Next interesting winner we have is Donphan. Donphan recently got the move Body Slam, which is fantastic. It's like the OP charge move Body Slam, the spammy Body Slam. On top of that, this thing already has Counter as a fast move. So Counter, Body Slam, Earthquake with the same type attack bonus. That sounds like the recipe for goodness in PvP. But unfortunately, Donphan appears to miss the mark, especially when it comes to Great League PvP. It does have a little interesting swag now when it comes to the Ultra League, but even there, I'm not entirely convinced that Donphan's exactly a good Pokemon. It still feels like it's on the more spicy or meme side of the force. And I think that Donphan kind of proves or kind of falsifies the rule, if you will, that Counter and Body Slam can make any Pokemon good, because this thing does have both now, and it's not really shocking the crowd. It's not wowing us at all. And I think part of it is because it doesn't have a same type attack bonus on either Counter or Body Slam, so while they are good attacks, it's just kind of hitting a little bit too softly to be relevant there. In Cup formats, maybe Donphan's going to be really good. I think Donphan's good enough where you're going to want to pay more attention to your PvP IVs and maybe consider building one. But until we actually approach a format and look at the meta and go, oh, look at there's Donphan's time to shine, I don't really think Donphan's all that great. I mean, if you consider the Premier Cup Ultra League Classic, the last time I really played in the Ultra League, in that format, I was just using Lapras and Crobat all the time, and Donphan really has nothing to do against those two Pokemon. And that meta was also completely dominated by Trevenant as well, another Pokemon that Donphan just can't touch. So maybe it's just the times that Donphan's living in right now, with Trevenant being a big name and other Pokemon not really caring about Donphan's existence. It's pretty rough. I think it's good, but it's not very impressive. Next up, we have Octillery. And Octillery is now even more of a meme than it ever was before. It now has Lock On. If you're not familiar with Octillery, Octillery has Octazooka, and it also has Acid Spray, so it's like the debuff meme type Pokemon. Before, it could accelerate to those moves pretty quickly with Mudshot, and now it can accelerate to those moves even faster with Lock On. And what does this all mean for Octillery? Well, Octillery is still bad. Octillery doesn't really have a good method of damaging opponent's Pokemon. It just has these debuff effects, and the debuffs don't stick when your opponent swaps out. So if Octillery doesn't really have a consistent way to close out fights against opponents, it doesn't matter how fast it's getting to like Oxzuka or anything like that. It's just not doing it. And it wasn't doing it with Mudshot, and it's really not doing it with Lock On either. If Octillery got like a good compulsory damaging move, I think it could move up in the world, so the stage is set a little bit for Octillery. But right now, Octillery is still just kind of a total meme. And we absolutely love it for it, but we may come to dread it in the future when it actually gets a damage move that's consistent and good. And then finally, for the winner circle, we have everything that has Bug Buzz. Bug Buzz got buffed by 10 damage. So instead of having 90 base power, it now has 100 base power. So every Pokemon that has Bug Buzz rejoices. Everything that was already using Bug Buzz is still using Bug Buzz. Nothing that has Bug Buzz is really considering using Bug Buzz now more than it was before. So it doesn't really change a whole lot. And a lot of the Bug Buzz Pokemon aren't exactly meta either. They're more of cup picks. So it really doesn't change their placement in the world either too. But hey, congratulations to them. It kind of feels like the Megahorn buff in a way, where it's like, yeah, Heracross and Escavalier, beat their asses harder. And now it's like, yeah, Wormadam, you Bug Buzz them harder. Are we going to use these Pokemon every single day? Probably, well, okay, Escavalier and Heracross, yeah, probably. But when it comes to a lot of the Bug Buzz Pokemon, not exactly. But when we do use them, Bug Buzz is going to feel that much better. And then finally, we have the loser, Chansey. Look at all the Chansey players crying with their little crocodile tears. Poor Chansey. Let me play you a song on the world's smallest violin. You got nerfed. Poor Chansey. Honestly, I'm pretty happy that Chansey got nerfed. Not because Chansey's good. I honestly don't think it's good. I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's OP. I was in the top 100 of the leaderboard during the Kanto Cup, and I had zero problems with Chansey, and my teams weren't like fortified specifically for Chansey. I think it's just a joke meme Pokemon. Maybe it's a little bit more of like a noob slayer or something like that, but I personally had zero issues fighting against Chansey. But what I will say is that fighting against Chansey is really fucking annoying. It takes so long to fight Chansey, to beat it, that it makes for like really like unpleasant fights, because you're just tapping this pink blob, the pink blob's tapping you. You're gonna win, and if the Chansey player has experience, they know they're gonna lose, but they're just there. They're gonna keep tapping and waste your goddamn time. So I feel like the nerf is kind of a good way to dissuade people from using Chansey. So what was the nerf to Chansey, by the way? If you're not up to speed, they changed Pound's base damage from 5 damage to 4 damage. And in practice, that means in matchups where Chansey was previously doing 2 damage per pound, it's now doing 1 damage per pound. So when it comes to its fast move damage, that is a 50% decrease, which is freaking massive. Tons of damage lost when Chansey's fighting its opponents there. So that's not good for Chansey, right? I know Hyper Beam is like the main meat of its damage, but if they're shielding the Hyper Beam, then yeah, Pound, kind of a big deal. If you could pound out a Pokemon, KO them, or put them in a Hyper Beam KO threshold because of the pound damage, your propensity to do that now is much lower. So people are saying that this isn't that big of a nerf for Chansey, because Chansey's still this big, bulky, time waster type Pokemon. But if you really do think about the damage, this is a pretty significant nerf for Chansey here. I really wouldn't have recommended you go all the way to build an XL Chansey before, and with the Pound nerf, I'm definitely not recommending it now, that's for sure. And then we come to the final big loser of this update, and that is everybody that was unfortunate enough to build an XL Chansey. I mean, this is a level 50 XL Pokemon. What is it, 293, 296 XL Candy to power up Chansey all the way. And players that did it without cheating, without using defit, without spoofing, without using an alt account, I feel pretty bad for those players, because it is a lot of time and effort to get all that XL Candy for a Pokemon. I mean, I have 2 XL projects myself right now. I have my Sableye and I have my Galar Stumpfisk. I still don't have enough XL Candy to power up my Galar Stumpfisk all the way, and I've been walking it for like over 2 seasons now. And when it comes to my Sableye, my XL Sableye, I still don't have enough XL candy to use it at full power without having it be my best buddy. I just don't have all the candy yet for these two Pokemon. And if I were to finally have them all the way powered up, and John Hankey descended from the heavens and said, "It is nerfed now. Nerfed your little XL friend," I'd feel pretty bad about that, you know? So I do feel pretty bad for the legit players out there that were working on Chansey as an XL project or had already powered up Chansey as an XL project, and now all their time and effort is kind of gone to waste there. And this kind of happens with every kind of nerf cycle here. And, I'm just bringing it up now because I really haven't thought about it before. But think about the players that made their XL Politoed with the Weather Ball nerf and their XL Abomasnows. And then for some of these Pokemon that get nerfed with these updates, people spent elite TMs on them. I mean, think about the Pidgeot nerf. Like, we all feel like the Pidgeot nerf was justified, but some people spent elite fast TMs getting Gust on their Pidgeot because for whatever goddamn reason Pokemon Go decided to make that a legacy event type move, Gust of all things. People spent elite TMs on Pidgeot. Now, Pidgeot's not that great. It's more of like a cup spicy type Pokemon. It's not exactly a household name, and that sucks. And I feel like now, especially when it comes to super expensive Pokemon like Chansey, if they are going to be doling out nerfs to things, I think there should be a little kickback, a little compensation to the poor players that did put in all the time and effort and then had it get wasted by a nerf. I don't think that's really fair for us. I don't know what the compensation should exactly be, but getting some like XL rare candy in the case of Chansey and like a couple 100,000 Stardust, I think that would be perfectly reasonable now that a lot of people aren't going to be using their Chanseys anymore. When it comes to stuff like Pidgeot and Pokemon that you'd possibly use an Elite TM on, I think they should give out some compensation Elite TMs along with that too. They're pretty hard to come by without spending money, so they're kind of wasting people's money when they're dishing out these nerfs. That's just, that's my 10 cents on that issue. You can agree with me or not, but I think it would be nice if they treated us a little bit better when they go around wasting our time. So that's all I gotta say about the Season 10 update here. Of course, if you have any questions on this content, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you want more details on this topic, link in the description to Tyler's article on GamePress, which does cover more matchup data when it comes to the winners and losers here specifically. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, you want to see more like it, maybe you want to catch that Magcargo PvPIV deep dive, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description. Like, let's say you went to a McDonald's and you ordered a McChicken. You got your McChicken. You drove all the way home. You open up the bag, and it's a McDouble. They didn't give you the McChicken that you paid for. And you call up McDonald's and you say, "Hey, I ordered a McChicken. You gave me a McDouble." And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me give you a voucher for a McChicken. That McChicken is on us. We nerfed your McChicken, we gave you the McDouble, and now you're getting some compensation because you paid for a McChicken." That's all I'm saying here. I think it's basic customer service. Other games do it. Pokemon Go doesn't. It's lame.